Welcome to this exploration of ecological theory, where we unpack frameworks for understanding complex systems and interactions. Over the next slides, we'll connect core concepts from individuals to biospheres, trace flows of energy and matter, and highlight how theory guides practical conservation and restoration decisions in a changing world. This diagram shows ecological hierarchy from individuals up to the biosphere, and highlights emergent properties that arise at each level. Think of how processes at smaller scales combine and are influenced by larger scale drivers, which is why specifying scale-appropriate variables and interactions is essential to avoid misattributing causes. Here, we contrast exponential and logistic population models, with exponential describing unlimited growth under ideal conditions, and logistic incorporating carrying capacity and density dependence. The takeaway is that real populations face resource limits, leading to equilibrium densities, possible overshoots and crashes, and important questions about life history evolution under changing constraints. Patch occupancy theory explains species persistence in fragmented landscapes through a balance of local extinctions and recolonizations, emphasizing source sink dynamics and the rescue effect. Connectivity, patch quality, and dispersal rates jointly determine long-term survival, so managing corridors and quality can stabilize regional populations. Niche theory and neutral models offer different lenses. Niche theory emphasizes resource partitioning and trait differences, while neutral models highlight demographic equivalence and stochasticity, and contemporary synthesis recognizes that stochastic processes operate within niche structured filters, so empirical tests should integrate traits, phylogeny, and dispersal to explain coexistence. Succession describes directional community change after disturbance through models like facilitation, competition, and tolerance, but historical contingency and priority effects can lead to alternative stable states. Restoration can either harness natural assembly processes to enhance recovery or intervene actively to redirect trajectories when necessary. Trophic dynamic theory frames ecosystems as energy pyramids, where primary producers support herbivores and predators with substantial metabolic losses across transfers, and allometric scaling links body size, temperature, and activity rates to production and respiration, enabling more comprehensive predictions of ecosystem dynamics across scales. Biogeochemical theory focuses on pools and fluxes of elements, like nitrogen and phosphorus, the stoichiometric balances that constrain productivity, and feedbacks between vegetation, soils, and atmosphere. Understanding these cycles helps predict productivity gradients and eutrophication risk when nutrient imbalances arise. Landscape theory dissects habitat mosaics into patches, matrix, and corridors while drawing attention to edge effects and connectivity metrics that predict species movement and genetic flow. And it directly informs applied guidance, such as reserve design and urban planning to mitigate human impacts and enhance biodiversity. Scaling in ecology highlights the grain and extent problem. Pattern perception changes with resolution and study area. Fine-scale heterogeneity drives individual behavior, while broad-scale gradients structure biomes. So multi-scale sampling and hierarchical modeling are necessary to avoid misinterpretation and responsibly upscale local findings. Contemporary integration projects species responses by combining physiological tolerances, phenotypic plasticity, and dispersal syndromes with climate drivers like warming, altered precipitation, and extreme events, feeding metabolic and biogeographic models that forecast range shifts, community reshuffling, and potential ecosystem feedbacks to the global climate. Resilience theory quantifies thresholds between resilient and alternative system states, emphasizing adaptive capacity, diversity, and social ecological feedbacks, and it guides management to preserve flexibility, address uncertainty under global change, and design policies that learn, innovate, and transform alongside dynamic ecosystems.